The streets of Eventide are especially busy this morning. Rowdy as well. How many were on the ale last night, I wonder? You seem uncomfortable, my liege. Is something the matter? Is the bustle of the streets too much for you? It's not that? Then what? Oh, your clothes? You needn't worry. No one out here will judge you for dressing in commoner's garb. In fact, you fit in quite well. Ah. Oh, it is quite necessary. We need to hide your identity from the residents here. Who knows which passers-by may be looking to pilfer you of your plentiful coin if they recognize you. Are you sure you don't want me to take care of it? Suit yourself. Just be aware of your surroundings as you walk the streets. Well, I can hardly wander these streets with you unarmed, can I? Petty thieves would deign to purchase with my trusty sword by my side. And frauds may just think twice as well. Believe me, it's for the best. Speaking of arms, there's a fine armory right here. What do you think? Do any of these daggers suit your fancy? Ah, a fine choice. A well-tempered blade with just the right weight to be wielded efficiently by novices and experts alike. It will serve you well. Very well. Excuse me, Bernard. We'd like to purchase this one. Pleasure doing business with you, good sir. Well, that's the matter of a weapon for you sorted. All that's left on the agenda is to gather the latest news from the Merchants Guild. If there is more disturbance caused by the kingdom-wide decay, we're bound to hear about it there. The guild is just this way. Follow me. So, are you enjoying seeing the city like this? Quite different from seeing it from the inside of a carriage, is it not? And far less bustling than during the annual royal parades you might be more used to seeing. Outside of such events, though, you can see the individual parts of the city and appreciate each of their unique charms. And this is just one of the many dozens and dozens of towns and cities all across the kingdom of Albion. The world seems so much larger when you take the time to appreciate the little things. Take the keeper of the armory we saw earlier, Bernard. A man of few words, but of strong will and firm moral code, more than capable of protecting his high-risk stock. Over there by that fruit stall is Tobias, who runs the church in the Western District. He's kind, sociable, and has incredible knowledge of the genesis of Albion. If you have questions about the old gods, he knows more than anyone. And down there, well, you can find quite the unsavory lot down the back streets. I should clarify, not all the parts of Eventide are pleasant. And behold, the Merchant Guild, an accessible window into the world beyond the city. Many merchants gather here to trade foreign goods, report and discuss news from distant cities, and... Aha! Just the man I was looking for. Wait here for just a moment, my liege. I'll be right back. It's been too long, my good fellow. I see the wilds of Albion haven't finished you yet. You there. Suppose I could interest you in this, my friend? Ah, there you are. I bring good news, my liege. Wait. What is that trinket you have there? An urn holding the power of a healing wisp? Robin, are you sure about that? Pass that to me. As I thought. You've been swindled, my liege. This urn is empty. I doubt it could hold a wisp in the first place. This is little more than a paperweight. I warned you of the lurking treachery of this place, and yet... No, it's not your fault. I'm sure your curiosity just got the better of you, and you genuinely believed it would be a help to us. If anyone is to blame, it would be that daylight robber passing themselves off as a respectable merchant. I'll teach him better than to peddle his phony trinkets on these streets again. Unhand me, my liege. Hoodlums like him must be dealt with, lest others succumb to their trickery. If that is what you wish, Robin. Just be more careful from now on. There are more unrespectable folk here than maybe you'd like to believe. Well, if you truly believe you can handle yourself out here on the streets, then I'd best advise you check your pockets. Looking for something? A classic misdirection. I keep your attention on my face, while swiping whatever valuables I can get my hands on. It's one of the first tricks pickpockets pick up on. With respect, my liege, I think I'll be keeping a hold of this after all. I will not be hearing your arguments at this time, however persuasive they may be. Besides, even the merchants who aren't outright thieves may try to get more out of you than they deserve. With the anticipated food scarcity, food prices are higher than ever, and some commoners are taking to whatever tactics they can to get by. I cannot wholly blame them. These are desperate times after all. But it still doesn't sit right with me. And beyond the commercial front of the city, though quite uncommon, darker things lie in wait out of the sight of common folk. Did you know about the serial murderer who has been terrorizing the towns of Albian as of late? His victims have been found in their homes with a single stab wound which led to their fatal end. Many of their possessions are also stolen from the scene. The theory is that this loathsome perpetrator befriends his victims, learns of what valuables they possess, then takes them for himself and moves on to the next town. I can scarcely believe such a disgusting man could so horrifically exploit the trust of others for his own personal gain. If we were to cross paths, I promise you, he'd quickly find himself at the end of my blade. But you needn't fear such a fate while I'm in your service. I'll be here to judge the character of anyone who we may come across. I have an eye for unsavory folk. Trust me. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you amidst that discussion. I was just given valuable information from that traveller friend of mine. I've been told the trees of the western Vanquera woods are afflicted by an unnatural rustling as of late. It's as though they are unsettled by the recent decay across the kingdom. Or perhaps some other force is just as unsettled. No way to know for sure, but to investigate for ourselves, don't you think? I'm glad you agree. The Royal Archive, you say? I suppose it couldn't hurt to be prepared. Very well. I suppose we're done in the city anyway. Let us return to the castle and browse the Royal Archive for clues. It will be a first for me to have the privilege of having access to such a wealth of knowledge. The fort is rather exciting indeed. Perhaps your curiosity is rubbing off on me. Lead the way, Robin. I think I'm having second thoughts about this whole researching idea. Why does there have to be so many words? Not to mention the sheer amount of books in this place. Is one expected to be able to read all this? Oh, you're just supposed to read whatever interests you? Well, still, there's far too many. How are you supposed to be able to find what you want? I swear, I'm going to be seeing endless letters in my dreams, tormenting me with strung-together nonsense. What? Oh, no, I can read just fine. It isn't exactly my forte, but I can understand enough to read simple historical and research texts such as these. You don't believe me? How rude. I may live to fight for and serve the kingdom, but I'm not uncultured, thank you very much. You want me to prove it? Very well. I shall read this passage in this history book for you. The old gods governed the fundamental components of our world. All natural life in our kingdom and beyond, the landscapes of our world from valleys to mountains to oceans, the fickle and unpredictable skies, and the wisdom granted to the humans who walk the earth. All of these gracious gifts and more were given to humanity by the old gods, and they watched over their domains for many thousands of millennia. As the old gods grew weaker with time, they passed their roles to their demigod offspring we know as heralds. These new gods maintain the order of their inherited aspects of our world to this very day. Sightings of these heralds is very rare, but signs of their presence have been seen in times of natural peril, or when chosen travelers are worthy of their gifts. They are expected to persevere for many more millennia to come. An interesting tale, to be sure. Though, I would rather like to have a few words with this herald of nature right now concerning the current plights of our kingdom. You're right. Threatening them with my blade would hardly solve the problem. Anyways, there you have it. I can indeed read. So, I think you should take back your words, my liege. I jest, my liege. I will admit, my reading skill is hardly my strongest quality. But hey, I have you to help with that, isn't that right? We cover each other's weak points splendidly. I wonder, are there any accounts here more reliable than any others? Well, there's just so many books here. It's rather overwhelming seeing all the books that could potentially hold useful information laid out before me like this. You're right. That's not exactly my point. I'm rather doubting the validity of these so-called history books. I mean, does this not sound rather preposterous to you? The existence of these unbelievably powerful, near-immortal beings that were in charge of every part of our world? Beings that are now conveniently no longer part of this world, I might add. And these books surely can't be more than a few hundred years old. How can we be sure this isn't all made-up nonsense? Evidence? What evidence would that be? Stories from people who have met the heralds, you say? I see. Still, such accounts cannot be plentiful, and who's to say if they're made up or not? Can we really believe this hearsay and these legends passed down through the centuries? How can we determine what is truth and what is exaggeration or falsehood? Faith? Sounds like believing in fantasy to me. The Whisps? True, they are similarly fantastical in nature. But their existence is common knowledge, and their presence is felt everywhere. These gods and demigods, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. I suppose I'm the cynical sort to believe only what I see with my own eyes. You are entitled to believe what you wish, but I can make my own way, without the reassurance of a guardian watching over me. I'll trust what is right in front of me. Like you. Huh. Well, thank you for hearing me out. I'm glad you understand. Such heresy would be frowned upon by many in our kingdom. But you've been open to my point of view. It's a relief to have that off my chest. It's not as though I could never accept these texts as true history. But until I see one of these so-called heralds for myself, I reserve my right to take them as just popular myths. Right. The daylight hours are waning. We'd best make this our last book before retiring for the day. What about this green book on this shelf here? Wait a moment. Listen closely. Do you hear that? This book possesses traces of ether. How promising. Shall we take a look? Let's see. One of the longest-standing, most ancient feats of nature in the kingdom of Albian is the woods. How do you say this? Hold on. Vanquero? This book just might have what we're looking for. The trees in the center of these woods have been said to have lived for tens of thousands of years. These have been sustained by the ingenuity of the Herald of Wisdom who frequently resides there. She has incredible... She is a reclusive being, hiding away deep in the middle of the woods. However, she has been known to welcome those she invites to her woods. Such invites bear unique markings. See the figure on the right. Huh. Hold on. Show me that trinket you got in the market again. I thought I recognized it. See here. It bears the same markings as this picture here. However naive you may have been in the moment, your curiosity has suited our needs in the end, I suppose. I should commend you for your intuition, Robin. Well done. Well, what an interesting discovery indeed. I would doubt these words, but considering the traces of Aoife in this book, and the uncanny similarities between the glyphs on your trinket and in this book, I'm inclined to think there's some truth to them. In fact, we may well be being called to meet this Herald of Wisdom, if this book is to be believed. It wouldn't hurt to venture to these woods to confirm for ourselves, now would it? Well, looks like the first destination of our journey has been decided. We should leave as soon as we can. You'd best prepare well. Depending on how successful we are in the Vanquera woods, we may not be returning to Eventide for some time. We need to be ready for whatever adversity we may face on the road. I'm sure it will be quite a shock for you, venturing so far from your home. Fear not, though, Robin. I'll be by your side every step of the way, and I'll be sure to keep you safe. If nothing else, I can be relied on for that.